Hello everyone, Brad here with StartRestoringHeadlights.com and welcome back to another video. As you guys can see from the title, I want to go over 5 different ways that you can get your first customer, if not get more customers, to your business if you are already established. So before I get into it, I want to mention that even if you are not in the headlight restoration business, some of these methods could still be valuable to you, whether you're doing detailing, scratch or dent repair, rim repair, and some of the methods that I'm going to go over do require a small amount of money to invest in, and that's exactly what they are, methods to invest in. So you should see a pretty good return on some of these methods. First method I want to go over with you all is Facebook, and I don't mean just updating your Facebook status and say, hey, who needs headlight restoration or anything like that. No, what I mean is much more in-depth. So what you're going to do is go to the search bar in your Facebook and type in your city and type in your state. Then you're going to scroll down the left hand side. You're going to see filter by groups. You're going to click that button, and then it's going to show all the different groups within your city that you could potentially advertise to. So you're going to join the groups that are applicable to you. A lot of them are just like neighbors who have Facebook groups and everything that might want to share events or kind of want to rant about something or let people know if there's traffic or some sort of issue within the area. So there are a countless number of these groups for every city and state and county. There are so many different ones, and I recommend joining every single one of these that are within your county and kind of just going through them, because this is something that I did when I first started that I didn't really utilize until a little bit later. I actually got on a schedule and I started advertising to these groups weekly. What you want to do is, after you join the group, you want to look through the rules and make sure that it is okay for you to advertise your business in the group. Some of them will allow you to advertise once a week. Some of them won't allow you to advertise your business at all. So it's definitely something to make sure that you are following the rules, because it is free advertising, and the last thing you want is to get banned from these groups for breaking the rules. So definitely make sure that you do read the rules beforehand. But this is something that you can do immediately after watching this video. What I'll do is kind of just make a post saying, hello, my name is Brad, I do headlight restoration. I'll explain the price, I'll explain the warranty and everything, and then I'll either put a bunch of pictures of before and afters, or I also put the video that shows the before and after. It's just a compilation of video, and it's not just good for advertising to the community, but it's also good for a small local business to advertise to, because you're showing them that you are a small local business, and people will gravitate towards supporting small local business over big corporations. It's definitely something to start advertising to, and just getting on a schedule. Don't post in one group like 2 or 3 times a week. You don't want to flood it, but you do want to do it weekly. For example, let's say you advertise in the group on Monday, and a bunch of new people join the group on Thursday. So those people didn't get the advertisement earlier in the week, so the following week they will get it, because people are constantly moving into the area regardless of where you're at. So it's definitely a good habit to build a schedule and consistently advertise to these Facebook groups. So the next method I want to go over with you all is yard signs. Now, yard signs are my absolute favorite because I get a return almost the next day after I put them out. So a few tips and things that I want to go over with you for the yard signs is, one, make sure that you check your state laws for the yard signs. They also might be called snipe signs on the official government websites, but I want to go in depth with you on where to place and how to place the yard signs. Because whenever I first started, I wasted a tremendous amount of money on these yard signs, and they were gone the next day. Like, I would put them out, next day the city got them. So it took me quite a few tries to learn the spots and learn what to look for, what the best places to put them. So a good rule of thumb is you want to put a yard sign in a low traffic area that'll be out for weeks or months at a time, rather than a high traffic area that's only going to last a few days. You don't want to put them in very obvious spots, because like I said, the city will pick them up almost the following day. They're really good about picking them up. So a few things to look for when you are placing the yard sign is one, you don't want to put them in high where the grass is really high, because that typically means that it's bound to get cut soon, and the lawn maintenance people typically will grab them and throw them out. They don't want to have to mow around it or anything. So you want to try to aim for graveled areas or mulchy areas. I typically try to go for properties that are abandoned or like woodsy areas that don't really have like a business or anything there. That's a really good thing to look for. You want to avoid like the middle of the streets. Do not put them in the middle of the streets, because those things will get picked up really fast. And right now, yard signs are pretty expensive. They can range between $7 to $10 per yard sign, depending on if you are getting them in bulk. Some of your local places may even charge $20 to $25 for a custom-made sign, depending on how many you're getting. We typically order them off signsonthecheap.com. I think that's the name, Signs on the Cheap. And we'll typically order between 100 to 300 at a time. And we'll start, like I said, we'll start in the middle of the night, go to the northern part of the county, and just work our way down for the first night. And then the second night, we'll start with the southern part of the county and work our way up. Another good tip is to try to put the signs closer to areas that are more automotive aimed, like closer to car washes, mechanic shops, tint shops, tire shops, just close where people get their maintenance done or getting their vehicles fixed. So the next method I want to go over with you is postcards. I have some examples here of my postcards. It's a very simple, easy to read postcard. It has the business name, the phone number, the cost of the service, as well as the services offered. I also have a little graphic here that shows before and afters, and then on the back I have a whole lot more before and after pictures and a little bit of information on why you should get your headlights restored. So I have these. I have the $5 off coupon, and same thing, it has the before and afters on the back, a little paragraph, some information on it. The $5 off coupon. So I offer two different ones. So what I will typically do is bundle these in 15 count packs, and I will drive everywhere to all sorts of different shops, anything automotive, as I said previously, tire shops, mechanic shops, you name it. And I will drop off about 15 of these. It's really good to get your name out there. And this is one objective you want to do whenever you first start, because a lot of people don't know that this is even a business, headlight restoration. So the more you're out dropping these off to different shops and everything, the more business that you could potentially pick up. Because if somebody's going to a mechanic shop and say, hey, I want to get my headlights replaced because they're really hazy, that employee or that advisor, whoever, can say, hey, instead of going through the costly repair of replacing them, why don't you just get them restored? And it'll just piggyback off of itself, because the more customers you get, they're kind of proud of the service. They'll say, hey, if they have a friend or family complaining about their headlights, that person who you did their headlights, they might say, hey, I called this person, they came and did my headlights at my home or whatever, I got a warranty, you should call them. And it just kind of piggybacks on itself. So that's why it's really important to just go out and put postcards out. Go out and introduce yourself when dropping these off. Do not just walk in, give them the cards, and leave. Walk in and say, hey, introduce yourself, shake their hand, say, this is what I do, this is my service, this is the warranty, because you're giving you're on a more personable level whenever you personally go in there and speak to them, because they themselves might be a customer as well, a potential customer, the person you're giving the cards to. So you want to make sure that you set a really good impression when it comes to dropping off these postcards. I work with a few different shops. Like I have the $5 off coupon. What I'll do is they'll give it to the customer, and when the customer gives it to me, they get a $5 off of the service, and then I do a referral to the person that they got the card from, so they get $5. And then I'll go out maybe weekly or monthly and drop off money to those vendors or whoever gave the card off. And then for these, I do a $10 referral. So if I get one of these from the customer, whoever gave it to them gets $10. So I like to incentivize giving these out. I do love working with different mom and pop shops. So every now and then, whenever I'm going to drop off more cards to those shops, or I'm giving their referrals, I'll bring them donuts or lunch or something, because it's just putting my business in their mind. Say, hey, where'd you get, where'd the donuts come from? Oh, the headlight guy dropped them off this morning. So you just got to kind of think outside the box when it comes to working with different shops. There is another method you could do. This one I'm not super proud of. I don't do them very often at all, to be honest, but it is something that you can do if you have any downtime. You can just drive through different neighborhoods. People typically park, facing the road, so you could see the headlights, and you can just drive by and throw one of these in there. It's either going to work or it's not going to work, but at least you have the opportunity to pull that business. So don't be afraid to do that. Worst case scenario, they just throw it away, and that's it. The fact of the matter is that you're putting that opportunity out there for them to make some money. And now that I'm thinking about it, instead of this card, having a coupon in here would probably be much better. It'll kind of ease the process, if you know what I'm saying. So definitely get some postcards, because it is such a good investment. We go through quite a bit. After I do the headlights at a customer's house, I will give them coupons so that they can give them to their friends, their family, if they're at the church or something. So it's definitely good to just get them out as much as you possibly can. So another thing you can do with these postcards is that you can actually go to different parking lots and put them in the door slots. Do not, and I repeat, do not put them on the windshield, because what can happen is, if it happens to rain, let's say they're working at wherever you're dropping these cards off, and you put one in the windshield and it rains and then it dries, these will dry onto the windshield, and it'll be very, very difficult to get off. And you don't want them calling you up and saying, hey, you put a postcard on my windshield and now my windshield's got all this stuff all over it. So definitely make sure you check the radar before putting those out. You don't want to make anybody angry, and you certainly don't want to have to pay for somebody to detail or remove the paper off of the windshield. So the next method I want to go over with you is decals. Now this one is really, really good, because you are in traffic. If you're ever driving or anything, you have that potential to pick up customers. I do want to kind of give you some insight on this one, because I made not a mistake, but I learned my lesson as far as the design of my decal. I got a perforated decal on the back of my glass, the back glass of the Audi, and it was essentially this. It was the same thing, like the same graphic and everything. There was a lot of information on it. And I got maybe 2 calls in the 8 months that I had it on the back of the glass. And it was starting to peel, so I just ripped it off. And then I had somebody just make me letters. I just put the name of the business, Headlight Restoration, in big font right on the back, and the phone number. And 2 hours after I installed that, me and my fiance went to get some dinner, and somebody had approached me about the decal, and they said, hey, I see that you do headlight restoration. And I ended up scheduling them right then and there. So it was so good to know that even right after I installed the decals, I got a return on my investment. So it's one of those classic less is more kind of situations. Because you're in traffic and everything, people may not be able to read all the information that you might have on there. So don't go overkill on it. Just keep it really, really simple. The business name, that way if they happen to turn or something, they at least have your business name. They can Google you, the phone number, and just a little bit of information. As you can see here, this is my decal. It's just short and sweet. Has the business name, has the warranty, has the contact number, and the price. So that way it's kind of something that you can remember, even if you don't take a picture or anything. And that does apply also with the yard signs. The yard signs are the same exact thing. I just have the business name at the very top, Headlight Restoration in big bold font. It says 3-year warranty, $89.99, and then it has my contact number. So it's just very, very simple. Do not go like crazy overboard with it, because people don't have too much time to look at it. So the final method I want to go over with you is email outreach. Now, one thing I've learned from this business is that there's no days off. It doesn't matter, like even on days that I don't have any headlight restorations, there's always a shop to call, there's always an email to send, always some sort of thing that you could do for this business. So anytime that you have a day that you're a little bit on the slow side, take your cards with you, drop them off on the ride back from the job. What I tend to do on days like rainy days specifically, I will Google search shops in my area, whether it be tire shops, tint shops, whatever. I'll go to their website, I will find their contact information, and I'll just send them an email, just introducing myself, offering myself as a sublet or just a referral program or something to that specific shop. One thing that you want to eventually try to get into is becoming a sublet at a mechanic shop or some sort of shop. So a sublet is essentially whenever the location itself offers restoration service to the consumer, to the customer. So what happens is they'll sell the restoration, they'll call you and say, hey, I got a job. You'll go there, do it, charge them X amount. They'll charge the customer X amount, and everybody's happy. So with some of the shops that I am a sublet for, we charge $70 for those sublets. So basically we'll go to the shop, do the restoration, I'll charge the shop $70, and the shop that I have in mind, they charge the customer $120. So everybody's happy. The customers doesn't have to do anything. The vehicle's already there. I'll go to the shop. I don't have to deal with the customer or anything. So that is such a good mutually beneficial relationship you can get with when it comes to these different shops and everything. I typically target mom and pop shops because Tire Kingdom corporations and stuff, they won't work with you on that one. But as I said, there are no days off. So on the rainy days, get to emailing, just introduce yourself, and especially the mom and pop shops. I'm actively working right now with a tire shop. We're just now doing the introductions and everything. I want to set up a booth or like a vendor spot at their location on like Saturdays, and just advertise, have that restoration. They're in a very, very perfect spot with high traffic. It's on a four-way intersection, and it is the perfect way kind of for both of us to make money. Because one, if they go there while they're doing the headlight restoration, they can go over tires and everything, and we give them 10%, or we're going to be giving them 10% of the restorations done that day. We did that at a few different car washes, and we didn't really do too well at the car washes. I'm not sure why. I mean, there was some traffic, but there wasn't nearly as much traffic. It's one of those situations where reach out to the owner of the car wash, ask about becoming a booth there one Saturday or 2 Saturdays out of the month, and just test it, because it's all about location. It's either really good or really bad. But that goes back to my point. Like I said, make sure that you're trying to reach out to all these different shops and everything, because you would be very, very surprised at the result that you get from those shops. That can definitely bring you in a lot of business. So that wraps up this video, guys. I appreciate you for staying with me the whole time. If you do have any questions or comments or anything you want to leave, please leave them in the description, because I do plan on doing more videos like this. I really wish I had some guidance whenever I first started, to learn kind of the mistakes and everything, what to watch out for, and the tips and everything on how to get the business really up and going. So that's one reason why I definitely want to help as much as possible. So please, if you have any comments, any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. And thank you so much for tuning in.